I trump you this time. I trump you this time. I did it. I did it this time. Yes. Yes. Gargantos. Yes. Welcome.
Shumagorath.
Yeah, Shimagorath. Whatever. Shows you how much I know. Okay. So, welcome into a special edition, Sunday night post NFL playoff evening blend. I am here with the Rough Rider from Red Dead Redemption 2, Matthew Matson. What is that a new? I would say a new toy. That's not a new toy. That's a new piece of apparel. That's beautiful.
No, I've had this for 6 years now.
Oh, well, it's new to me. How about that?
Yeah,
That's
well, I
all
don't get
that
to wear it
matters.
much, and it's 17 degrees all day today. So, I get to go out in the wintertime and show off my Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes face cover.
And I am thankful for it. So if you haven't noticed, coming from the studio of 1 3-star draw, yes, folks, I'm Pop Blender. And here with me is Matthew Matson at home in his cozy abode. Luckily, 3-star was he opened up his home to me and allowed me to leave Nashville, where there's still over 200,000 people in Metro Davidson County without power, and the temperature is continuing to drop as we speak. Yeah, man. Oh, and look, it's so funny. It even says 3-star draw over here down South 77.
Yeah, when you logged into the StreamYard, you didn't see the.
I did not. And here's the crazy thing though. I logged into StreamYard, and it actually, let's see if I can remove that. I can't even remember how. It's been so long since I've even. It logged into StreamYard and it let me play our intro. It has all of my clips, all my like stupid clips, like for instance,
disgusting.
Or how about this one?
The gayest project Marvel has ever done.
Of which there are many. And finally,
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Story of my life. Okay. So yes, I am not 3-star draw, as you have noticed. I don't have my hat because it's at home shivering right now because there is no power where I live. So yeah, 3-star opened up his home to me. And because we're cousins, I was waiting on the invite. And I kind of just got on the road. Packed up, and I kind of just got on the road.
And so you didn't know you were coming until you called him and said, "Hey, can you move your truck so I can park here?"
He said, "Hey, let me know." He said, "Let me know if you're coming." Let's see here. I'm gonna change this real quick. He said, "Let me know if you're heading out." And how about that? There we go. Okay. And I said, okay, I will. And in the process of packing everything up and just getting shit together, I didn't text him, and I got on the road, and of course I'm driving, and it's like, okay, the roads were clear enough, still a little tricky. Yeah. And so of course I'm not going to sit there and, whatever. And then I called a couple people to check on them, including my son. And then all of a sudden, as I'm literally pulling up, I'm like, oh shit, I need to call him and let him know I'm here. So I'm using his studio, and that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do, is do an impromptu stream and be able to have someone who has a beautiful setup like this. So I'm fortunate to do it. Okay. So Matthew, look, we have a few things to go over tonight. We'll chop it up a little bit. Let's let everybody know kind of where you're at weather-wise. You do have some traveling on Tuesday. That's why you will not be with me on Tuesday night. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to stream Tuesday night.
Right.
So that's kind of why we're doing tonight. So you let everybody know how's things in your neck of the woods, and then we'll go from there.
For the most part, it's actually pretty okay here. I have a couple corners in my house that got about 2 feet of ice, and it's been kind of snowing since about 4 this evening. So we've had more precipitation falling, but up until tonight, it's all been like sleet and just building up these piles of ice. So we might have a little more snow tomorrow. It's not supposed to get above freezing before Tuesday. So I have had to delay my leaving for my trip till Tuesday. So I'll be driving most of that day. And then got some family stuff to take care of, and then come back for my daughter's birthday. But for the most part, the roads are icy. They're bad. I have actually not been out on it, but that's everything. All other things concerned, it hasn't been too bad here.
Okay. Well, for that, I'm glad, because we discussed this. We did I was on 3-Star After Dark, and also talked about it a little bit on Wednesday afternoon before doing Seven's Wild with my cousin a few days ago. And so we knew this was coming, and it's bad, folks. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is bad. And I do have a few pictures that I sent to myself. Yeah. I'll bring up a couple for you guys just to show you. I'll give you a little idea of what I kind of had overnight. So I didn't get much sleep last night.
Yeah.
There were trees exploding everywhere.
Yep.
And I mean, dude, everywhere. It was nuts. And all I heard from about 2 a.m. Central Time was nothing but trees breaking, cracking, falling down. The neighbors behind me, that is a tree that has probably been there for God knows how long, 100 years. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, it is absolutely massive tree. And it came down, and not only did it destroy his metal trailer, it came down on top of his van, and then came down on top of a carport where he had a pontoon boat underneath it. And this is the picture of the tree. That is a massive freaking tree. This tree right here on the right side is in our yard. This tree behind, that's in his yard. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see the trailer, maybe make out the skeletal frame.
Yeah.
And then over here where the mouse is, this is where a giant carport above a tall pontoon boat, and all of that was taken out. And I heard it about 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning, I think 6:30 this morning.
Wow.
So you can imagine what that sounded like.
Yeah. Well, we heard a big bang earlier this evening, and everybody was talking about it. We can't figure out what it was. I don't think it was a transformer. It was probably a car wreck, most likely, but
yeah. It's dude, I mean, it's nuts. And all around me, all I heard was nothing but limbs crashing to the ground. There was a large explosion. The internet went out for about like 5 minutes, and then it came back on. I thought, oh, everything's fine. And then right after this tree came down, the power went out, but that tree had nothing to do with it, actually. So there's a bunch of people without power right now. It's pretty rough, man. This is a view from
it's no joke.
3-Star's house. Yeah, it's some scary shit, man. Look, I've never seen anything like this in my life in Nashville. I'm not gonna lie. I've never seen this. I've never heard trees like this breaking and cracking and all that. I mean, we've had ice storms, when I was, I think, right out of high school. But this is pretty nuts, man. So look, let's say hello to a few people. Some people joining us. I know War Chest has a bunch of comments, and specifically about the He-Man trailer, which we're going to go. Looks like Cobra's Weather Dominator works better than expected. Yeah. If this is what it's like, I don't want to know. Giraffe is here in the house. What's up, man? Said, look how oiled up those two are on the thumbnail. Pop got to be excited to see this. I'm excited. I have reservations, and some of those reservations are some of the ones that I'm gonna star.
As excited as Sir Pennytree.
Hey, holy crap! I don't even know if he was excited. That's just flaccid, dude.
Yeah, right.
That's flaccid. Holy crap! Clint Jorgensen is also in the house. This is the best trailer I've seen since Bowfingers.
Bowfingers.
Good God. 3-star draw is hanging out in the other room. Says, "Let's go." Yeah, man. He's dude. I packed up. I brought a bunch of food. I think I brought more food than 3-star has in his pantry right now. No, seriously, like I brought a bunch of shit, and chances are the power's gonna be back on like tomorrow. I don't know.
Hopefully. I hope so. But you have so many power outages, it's going to take them a while to get through all those grids.
Yeah, there is Pop Blender merch. That's the old sock hat. Actually, my mom had this made for me. It's kind of fucked up, and I wore my glasses. What the hell? Let's see here. Does he have a better setup? He has a better background. I can tell you that. No, this is a fantastic setup. Actually, he's done quite well for himself in the YouTubing department, as is the 500 plus subscribers. So obviously, let's see what else we got. I'm chat back before. Turk Murphy's Toy Solution is here. Joe Fan 84 is here.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, fellas? William C. Emery. What is up now? William, I got to tell you, if you have a name I know, please tell me. And I only say that just because I know with YouTube's new kind of @ thing and all that, like it's kind of weird. So yeah, I know this is a oh, there's Stu checking
What's up,
in.
Stu?
What's up, buddy? I'm glad you're here as well, Stu. So look, there's not a lot of stories out right now. I saved a couple things that I thought we could obviously kind of check on and talk about. And the first being, before we get into the numbers, because it still is January, I want to talk about the most recent episode of Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah.
Let me just pull up a little bit of something to have on the screen. Again, I'm not in my domicile, so it's a little weird. But I'll do my best to keep things moving. Okay. So last week was really more of a setup episode to get us to know the Hedge Knight, Sir Duncan, and Egg, the missing Targaryen boy. Right. And he meets him at a little inn, and he wants to be a squire. He tags along with him. It reminds Sir Duncan of kind of him tagging along with Sir Arlen of Pennytree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same setup. So episode 1, really more of a setup, getting to know the character. Episode 2, only 34 minutes long, which with credits and everything, probably about a 27-minute episode, would you say?
I mean, it seemed to run for 30 something minutes. So of the actual content,
it felt longer, and not in a bad way, in a great way. Yeah. What did you think about this episode? And give us a little bit of a baseline so we know who I guess we're dealing with in this show again, just to kind of refresh me too.
Yeah, well, so it gets into a little bit of spoilers because there's a lot of stuff that they haven't revealed to us yet. But we have many of the great houses that we know from Game of Thrones are being represented here or spoken about here. The
tournament, right?
Yeah,
there's a tourney, jousting tournament.
Yeah, so we're at the tournament, and Sir Duncan the Tall. So as a point in the book, his name, the only name that he's ever known is Dunk. And so somebody said, "Is that short for Duncan?" And he's like, Yes, it is. He's never known anyone. His name isn't Duncan. His name is Dunk. And then somebody called him, "Who are you, Sir Duncan the Tall?" And he's like, "Sure." And so, he's let these people just kind of give him names because he's never really had a name, because he was an orphan child that was taken under the wing of this Hedge Knight. And this Hedge Knight served most of the major lords in the realm, and he fought in a couple tourneys or whatever, and he's no one of note. So this is the problem, is because Sir Duncan the Tall needs somebody to sponsor him and say, "Okay, I can say that you are a Hedge Knight, and you can be in this tournament because you are a knight." And no one will agree to this. Everyone denies knowing his master. And this little bald orphan boy is following around, and this bald orphan boy has got quite an attitude about him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's worried about flies in his beverage. He's worried about stuff that small folk aren't ever worried about. People who grew up in Flea Bottom, or people that are poor boys running around being squires or stable boys or whatever for whoever will hire him, is not concerned about having a fly in his drink, is not concerned about where they're sleeping or who they're eating, and sure as heck would not know all the major lords, their sigils, and their family histories as well as this young man does. So we can assume that he is someone of note. As we go through this episode, the Targaryens come to visit, and they take over the manor, basically, where the chief referee or person who's hosting the tournament is living. The person who decides who gets in the tournament and doesn't. And Dunk kind of, after getting refused, wanders his way in there. And then there's a handmaiden there that gives him some dirt on some stuff, and then just calls him a dumbass and walks off.
Right.
And then he gets caught spying on the Targaryens, and introduces himself and says a couple things. And one of the Targaryens there, they mention missing of 2 princes. So there are 2 Targaryen princes that are missing. And they get to talking with Dunk, and they go back and forth, and he kind of proves himself. I mean, he has enough memory and enough history knowledge to know what happened at a specific tourney, specifically with this Targaryen. He kind of slips up, as his master said, he broke 7 lances on my shield, and the other guy's like, no, it was 4. And he prostrates himself practically and saying, I didn't mean to offend you, blah, 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 whatever. And they're like, the older brother.
Funny scene. Funny scene. Good dialogue. Very good back and forth.
Yeah. The other brother, who is kind of the guy in charge, is like, who is this pissant? Why are you dealing with him? I mean, get this jerk out of here. And then, as he's walking out, he says the dumbest thing ever. I hope I hope they find them not dead.
Which is what the handmaiden, or the young lady, says to him before he gets discovered by these Targaryens. And she's like, you're stupid. You're big and stupid. And their sons are missing because he's spying on this conversation. And she says to him, like, hope they're not dead or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
And then that's, and then he says that, he repeats it because he's nervous, because he's a big oaf. He's kind of dumb, which is endearing, right?
Yeah.
It's an endearing character. Like 3-Star made a comment to me tonight. He's like, I've seen not even a full episode yet. We were 3/4 of the way through. He said, I've seen half an episode of this and I already like it more than House of the Dragon.
Well, right.
And for some people, that may be the case.
I think for a lot of people, this is the case. And a lot of people say that this is their favorite writings from George R.R. Martin because it's more heroic and, basic storytelling. There's a hero, there's an adventure, there's stuff that happens. And this is the least nihilistic of all of his stuff that he's done. To set the kind of world in which we're at, it's after House of the Dragon, before Game of Thrones. And this is a time when the Targaryens are in power, but they don't have large dragons anymore. I'm not entirely clear if they don't have any dragons, or they just don't have any that are big enough to ride and parade around as the war machines. So the people are starting to wonder, why are the Targaryens in charge? Is it because if it's just dragons, they don't have dragons anymore. So why are they in charge? And so the Targaryens have put an extra emphasis on tourneys and having the Targaryens rule the tourneys, because there aren't any major wars and we don't want any major wars. But if there are, we want to make everybody know that we're the baddest asses motherfuckers on the block.
And that's something I was thinking about too, because I'm like, you know what, the Targaryens, when they arrive, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, and of course for the young boy Egg, okay, in this show, of course, he's hiding. He's gone. And here come the Targaryens riding in, and it's like, oh shit, I don't want to be discovered, which is kind of weird when he's like up on Dunk's shoulders at the jousting tournament. And it's because I was like, even without his hair,
yep,
they might recognize this kid.
You would think that his father might actually recognize his son,
right,
out in a crowd. Yeah, I found that odd. I found a couple other things a little odd because Egg makes himself very inconspicuous as soon as the Targaryen banners come around.
Yes,
right? So
very inconspicuous, right?
Yeah, so he goes and runs off, and I'll take the horse back. I'll look after the camp. And blah, blah, blah. Shouldn't I give it a mace or a sword or something? And
he doesn't want to be around. He doesn't want to be around. He doesn't want to be discovered.
Yeah, and so you can see his fear of things that are going on there. Yet when the tourney starts, he's like, "Put me on my shoulders. I got to see all this stuff." And he's all cheering and into it and telling Dunk about the knights that are there and having way too much information.
Way too much information, right?
And it wasn't really quite sinking in, but there was a moment where he said, "Take me down off the shoulders." And that may have been because he wanted to get closer to see, but I think it was more the fact that he suddenly realized, wait, I have a beeline for the royal tent. They can see right to me should they want to. I better not be up here.
and that is possible, but he participates in a tug of war match, like he's hanging on the rope.
We get to see Lionel Baratheon again, and he goes out.
God, I love this guy.
And he slaps Dunk on the shoulder, says, "You heads knight, come."
Then slaps him on the ass.
Be in my service in war. Come to war with me. And as they play tug of war. And they make him the anchor, obviously. I can't figure out why Egg is involved with this, though, because he's not a knight.
I can't either. I don't get it.
There's no reason why he should be pulling on this rope. But in any case, they're pulling on the rope, and they get settled, and they get pulled back, and they're settled. And Lionel just lets go of the rope to go talk to his manservant and drink some more alcoholic beverages and slap Dunk on the ass on the way back, saying he's doing a great job. And then he puts his two fingers on the rope to help pull the rope and finish the match at the end as he sees that they're going to win, so he can participate in the tug of war.
It is a good scene. Scene.
Yeah, it's fun.
There are some good scenes in this episode. It is shorter than the first episode. I will tell you guys. The very first episode, or not the very first. Okay, the very first episode, we get some ass and cheeks, and we get some projectile poo. This episode, the very beginning, we get some old man ass and a giant dong. And I mean a giant dong. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Sir Arlen, okay, is very well endowed, and they show it all in its glory on screen. And I mean, I was cracking up because I'm like, and he's obviously got a hoe in a bed, and I was going to say, we're being told from Sir Duncan the story of Sir Arlen of Pennytree, and it's kind of giving us a flashback of his ways, what he was like, and kind of how he ended up dying, not by wound, but just he had a wound. And so we get a little bit of a backstory the first 5 minutes of the episode.
Yeah, we get to see the wound that apparently ends up taking him. It's on his forearm. Now, that is actually probably going to be fairly significant to some things. Is what kind of a wound that is. Okay. But we'll see if they dive into that or not. Because it shows all his scars and stuff like that, but he's really trying to kind of cover up that forearm and hide it with his alcohol, because I'm sure he's in a lot of pain, and he's exhausted, fatigued from sleeping outdoors all the time in the rain, and laughing while eating beef jerky or whatever.
Right. It's
But
this episode, for the most part, it's really breezy. It is fun. It plays a lot, I guess, funnier than most Game of Thrones.
oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
And this episode kind of concludes with uh Sir Duncan having to barter to get some armor because he has no armor, so he has to get some armor. He has to trade in some. He sells one of his horses to get some coin, and he's preparing for the tourney. And then it starts with jousting, and it's kind of the first round, I guess, maybe the first day of jousting, and they list some of the competitors.
There's some important information that goes on with the armorer too. The armorer talks about that he makes high quality stuff, right? He makes really good armor,
Yeah.
but it's not this ornate crap. It's not this stuff with the flip up face shields. You know, I don't put boar's heads or rams or whatever on helms. I make
Fish and fruit, shit
whatever.
like that.
He makes armor for war, and Dunk's like, well, that's exactly what I want. And then he tells him a price, and he's like, ah, crap. I've only got, they say 800. Well, I've only got 2. And he's like, but I've got this other set of armor. Would you take it and trade? It doesn't fit me. And so whatever. And so the guy ends up finally agreeing to it reluctantly and taking, 200 off of it, so that he can get a suit of armor that fits him. And then he'll recycle the other ones, so the other guy can melt it down and make it into something else, or resell it or whatever.
And
Doesn't
he's
matter.
renting this armor for 1 day for 200. He's
right.
not keeping it. He's just renting it for a day.
No. So for
that was my understanding. He said for 200 you trade in your other armor, and then I'll give you this for a day.
No, he said essentially he's letting him borrow it for 24 hours or whatever, and if he comes back with the rest of the money, he gets to have the armor.
Yeah,
right.
if he wins the tourney, or if he comes back, he says, "Look, I'm going to win this thing," and these, and so there's obviously, it's the armor is like, okay, right, everybody says that,
and right, and so he has to sell one of his horses, and he sells the best one. I can't figure out why he sells. I guess maybe because he's probably going to get the most for it, or has the best chance of buying it back later. But he sells the war horse, and he's got the other two, which all 3 horses are important to the storyline. So he's really got to get this horse back if he can. So he's got to win this tournament, and he's confident that he is, because he's too stupid to know otherwise, until he watches the joust.
Yeah, and then he kind of has an anxiety attack.
That's for sure.
While he's watching, and he starts having flashbacks of him burying Sir Arlen, and just like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? And really the end of the episode just kind of wraps up with him sitting around with Egg, and Egg's, all juiced up from watching this tourney, and then he notices something's wrong with Sir Duncan, and he asks him, and basically it's kind of his little reiteration to himself that, tomorrow he's gonna go kick some ass. Like, he's got to get himself together.
So as Egg is playing around with his stick of a sword, he mentions some things that are pretty important, actually, because he makes reference to the Blackfire Rebellion, which was Targaryen civil war, essentially, is the Blackfire Rebellion. The first one, well, all of them are, but he's referencing the first one. There's another one to come. But the Blackfires rebel against the crown to try and take over. And so there's always been a divide in the houses of the Targaryens. And so he's like fighting the Blackfires, in his mock play before he realizes this. And then Dunk is extremely honest and self-reflective and understands who his master was, really, what that means for him. And then that just solidifies what he has to do the next day. He says, I am going to do this.
Because he's basically saying, look, Sir Arlen didn't really win any tournaments. He he even says earlier in the episode, his fighting skills were not of note. He really didn't have, didn't have anything. He had no land. He didn't sire any kids. It's, and Sir Duncan kind of is his legacy. Yep. And he, at the end of the episode, he kind of, in my opinion, he's firing himself up and he's saying, hey, I am his legacy and I want people to know about this person. And at the same token, it's his way of getting people to know who he is, and making a name for himself. He is forced to change his coat of arms because the Targaryen Lord tells him that
you're not his blood. You can't use his sigil.
Yeah, right. So he has to have his own sigil. So he gives it to the girl that he's interested in, who is the people putting on the play, and he gives it to her to paint a new sigil, in which Egg recommends it should be a strong giant elm tree with it. And then Dunk says, Dunk says with a shooting star over the top. We talked about that last episode.
He also mentioned an elm tree at dusk, at sunset, with a shooting star over top. And Dunk likes this girl. They watch the play. They enjoy the play. They come in to see her. He gives her a couple coppers for the night before and that one because she's so good. And then they have this really awkward conversation, and Egg is basically leading the conversation for Dunk. Yeah. He's actually interrupting Dunk a couple of times to get past his awkwardness and get to kind of an actual conversation with this person. So Egg is clearly gifted in social conversation for the aristocracy, and knowing how to deal with people on many different levels. And then Dunk is clearly not, and he's an oaf. He doesn't know any of these things.
Yeah, it's obvious, as we say, hey to Todd C. What's up, buddy? It's pretty clear he does not have any ability to really, especially around a woman, which is funny because they make reference to men around as far as being knights, and around women. It's breezy episode. We get a little bit more information. We get some more character growth, character development. And I think people really like it. If you haven't watched it, it's easy to watch. And like I said, this episode seemed longer than the runtime, and that's in a good way.
Yeah,
I kept waiting for it to get cut off, and I was thinking, okay, well, we got this stream coming up, and I'm waiting on it to get cut off, and then it just kept going, and then another scene, and then another scene, and I thought, well, damn, I swear I think this thing's like 30 minutes,
right?
And but in a very good way. So I recommend it. I recommended it after last week. I don't know a ton about these novellas. So this is me coming in as somebody who doesn't have a ton of information other than Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. And this is a different time period. So
and I got to say, if you're at all curious or whatever, you want to wait till it finishes to stream it. I understand that it's worth the payoff that's coming for awesome. What they're going to accomplish in this episode or this season. And throughout this series, it's going to uncover a lot of very interesting characters that we know from the Game of Thrones world that we don't have a lot of information on from that world, from the main storyline, because this will have some of their origins as we go through, like the Three-Eyed Raven and the beginnings of some of the houses. As we know them, because they already made reference to the Grey Lion, which was the Lannister who's in charge of Casterly Rock at the moment.
Well, and also, the character of Egg, the young boy, he is the brother of Maester Aemon at the Night's Watch.
Spoiler alert. I didn't. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's we talked about it last week. I mean, but it's just at the very least to give a little bit of a baseline, where we're at.
He's one of the two princes that is missing, right? That the Targaryens are looking for.
So, and again, for most people, they're probably coming into this on the outside. And it, sometimes a little bit of reference helps. I'm not going to lie to you. Like a little bit of reference helps me because I know the house names, but like some of the, individuals, I'm like, okay, I get that's the Riverlands, like that. Okay, right. But like, that little bit of information is interesting, but I think it at least helps you place the time period and kind of understand like where we're at also.
Yeah.
But I don't, it's a spoiler, but I don't think it's just so crazy that somebody's gonna be like, oh, I can't watch this, so yeah, but I recommend for both of us,
Yeah, absolutely.
for sure, and it is fun, man. I'm enjoying it, and 3-star got to see it tonight, out of order, but he'll go back and watch episode
Sure.
1 and get to see some more bare ass, and for that I'm grateful.
It's a projectile diarrhea.
It's a projectile diarrhea.
So I'm guessing that every single episode's cold open is going to have a shocker thing happen in the opener.
I have to say at this point, it wouldn't surprise me because the first 2 episodes, yes, the very first scene is like, okay. And then this episode was like, okay, 16 inches. I mean, seriously, it's at least a foot. Like, it's ridiculous. But remind me of Theon Greyjoy.
I was gonna say he's related to a horse. I'm just
yeah. Quite possibly. So anyway, but yeah, check it out. Go if you don't have HBO, and if you don't have HBO, sail the high seas, and if you do, check it out. You get through it very easily, and after you watch it, watch Primal. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm caught up on that now too.
Yeah,
so.
it's first 2 episodes released last week.
Yep.
3-star. I assume there will be, but after Me Too, I don't know. It's kind of like now they've gone overboard on the other and not that. So I don't know. It's weird. I mean,
I did catch something else that popped up.
Okay.
This week, and it just dropped on streaming. It's Mel Brooks at 99. So it's a 2-part documentary on Mel Brooks, and it goes through his whole life up until 6 months ago, probably.
Okay.
And this man is still sharp as a whip. It goes through his lives. It goes through the love of his life. His second wife. It's amazing. And then the kids are involved with it, and it just kind of shows how much he actually shaped comedy in the world, in the United States, but in the world, because everybody knew about him at some point or another, and some movies you wouldn't even think about, and then how he kind of reinvented himself a couple of times. And how he started a production company to make serious films. So because he didn't want his name put on it, he had Brooks Production Company that put out, oh gosh, what is it? The Elephant Man and stuff like that. Okay. So he got into serious filmmaking because he understood the grotesque. He understood humanity, probably better than most people. And he could laugh at it. He could laugh at himself. He could laugh at the situation, because that's what you do to survive sometimes. Being a World War II vet, fighting the evil Germans from that era. He had a lot of stake, being of Jewish heritage himself, obviously. So it's very interesting. So I highly recommend it. It's 2 almost 2-hour parts that are out there.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that you watched that, because last night while I was sitting around really doing nothing, waiting on the crazy weather, and it was snowing and everything, I used my antenna, on my TV. And if you have those still? Oh, dude, listen. So I'm flipping through and I'm like, man, I never look at this thing. There's channels on here, and I come across a comedy channel, and there's an old rerun of Johnny Carson.
Yeah,
from 1974.
Yep.
And this actress is one of the guests, one Robin Hilton.
Yep.
Robin Hilton, if you remember, is in this clip, you see Johnny Carson right there on the screen. That interview she's talking about his new film, Blazing Saddles, and she plays the secretary.
Yep.
And it's funny because you mentioning that, and I didn't even tell you that I watched this episode of Carson, and they talk about Mel Brooks. They talk about Blazing Saddles is coming out. He sent the script to Johnny Carson, and Johnny Carson thought it was hilarious and crazy. And he's like, you know, and nobody can make a movie like this except for Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
And it had not come out yet, but she was a guest on there. And so it's funny that you mentioned that.
Well,
she acted just like Marilyn Monroe.
Oh yeah.
On Carson, and I don't know if it was an act or not.
Oh, it was totally an act.
It had to be.
So I believe that Mel Brooks was the first guest that the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson ever had.
Okay.
And so he would always come back and talk to Johnny about anything. And so it's funny when you go through his whole career and who he worked with, and you know, who tried to tell him he was nobody or nothing, and nothing, you know, he had his boss come down to him and basically tell him, you're nothing, you're nobody, you're nothing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so he says, so since you're my boss, you're the boss of nothing.
Nice. I mean, and that's Mel Brooks in a nutshell. Yeah, actually, I saw that documentary pop up, and I want to check it out because
it's good.
As a child of a period of time, you know, growing up on those movies, obviously most of us love all those films. Starting with Blazing Saddles, but History of the World and Spaceballs, of course, and
Young Frankenstein,
Malibu Express. Do you remember that? Young Frankenstein, which we talked about a few weeks ago. But yeah, man, I'll check that out, dude. Yeah, it looks great. Was it on HBO?
Yes, I believe it was HBO.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay, look. So we'll run down the numbers, you know, quickly. It still is January, and January is just brutal. Mercy, the new Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson AI thriller, took over first place from Avatar. Not really.
Right. Yeah.
This movie is
not really exactly
a bomb.
Yeah.
It is an absolute bomb. It is not going to do well. It's extremely contrived. It's when I say contrived, it's like, oh, and this happens because of this coincidence and this coincidence. And I wouldn't recommend it. I damn sure wouldn't go spend your money at a movie theater on it. So for those of you out there, do not do that. Avatar Fire and Ash, though, still holding strong. Zootopia 2 still there. Housemaid, however, over $300 million worldwide and domestic. This, I don't know how this movie with Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney.
Well, that's how.
I can't argue with that. And as a testament to leaving a movie in the theater to make up some money, you know, word of mouth, whatever. 28 years later, The Bone Temple has gotten some pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
You know, not the greatest, but it has gotten some pretty good reviews from those I've kind of checked through.
I've heard some good things about it, but you know, some people have such a bitter taste over the last one. They're like, I don't care about this one, but the good reviews have leaned on the fact that if you watch 28 Days Later and then you watch this, they are like a seamless. That's what they say. They work together really well, but I haven't seen this one, so.
That's what I've heard, but I hadn't even seen the last one, to be honest with you. Marty Supreme, Return to Silent Hill, an absolute disaster. I have not seen one good review of it yet, and honestly, this thing snuck up out of nowhere. I forgot all about it. Trying to capitalize on the release of the remake of the second Silent Hill game that came out last year.
Right.
And Too Little Too Late. Hamnet, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Always a good sign. As you can see, it's taken up couple other slots there. Primate at number 10, nowhere near good as the Monkey. God dang it. I mentioned it last week that the Monkey, holy shit, that is good. If you want to see something that'll take you by surprise, go back and watch the Monkey.
Yeah.
It was fun, but Primate, not going to get it done. Even for a horror movie, I guess, you can imagine it is what it is. But yeah, so January still, chugging along, but just not much there. 3-star. No, I'd rather get you started on Primal is what I'd like to do.
Right, exactly.
And not rewatch The Monkey, but get you started on Primal. That's what you need to do. Yep. It is awesome. And yeah, I wouldn't go see Primate in the theater. Yeah, 2 billion Masters of the Universe. Well, we're gonna check out the trailer. I don't know if it's gonna hit that.
Look, you got to think of this. It's a niche market. Even if it gets popular, it's still niche. It's like Barbie. Barbie was niche, and it should be happy in the niche. And
Barbie way more popular than He-Man. Like, let's not kid ourselves.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I mean, just because we're G.I. Joe fans.
No.
You got to think about, Pixel Dan, and there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of fascination and love with this. Not Kevin Smith, though. His brother did. His brother loved it, but not Kevin Smith, clearly.
I get it, but even still, I mean, look, Barbie, international, humongous, dude. There's no way He-Man stacks up against Barbie. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that in the pantheon of like longevity, right?
Okay.
And staying in the public zeitgeist. And then if you make a Barbie movie, you're going to get all the gals out, and you're going to get some of the guys. I'd be hard pressed to think a guy's going to drag his gal to see He-Man, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want it to be successful.
But there are too many movies out there that are for guys that the girls don't want to go see. So that, He-Man is definitely going to be one of those, right?
I'm with you. I like the market.
It's easier for the women to get the guys to tag along than it is for the guys to get the women to tag along.
Yeah, no, agreed. And again, as 3-star says, yeah, I mean, 20 plus years at least of fandom, but just thinking, not only inside and outside the box, whatever, but just Barbie in general, like it's so mainstream, right? Like so mainstream and not forgotten for 20 plus years until, right? Like, but my point is that I don't know that He-Man will do 2 billion, but if they play their cards right, they could have a successful 2 to 3 movie franchise out of this thing.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm stoked for it. We're going to take a look at the trailer here in a few, but I did want to bring up the Razzies.
Yeah.
The Razzies. So, if you know about the Razzies, some people are okay with getting one. It's like the worst. It's the best of the worst, basically. And instead of getting an Oscar, getting a Razzie means that you made a absolutely terrible film or put in a terrible performance. And I have the list of nominees here for Worst Picture. And anybody in the chat, if you've seen some of these, The Electric State, that is the Russo brothers' huge failure.
Yeah.
Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Unfortunately, there's a movie that should be on this list that isn't because it's on the Oscars list. And I'm like, how is this movie on the Oscars list?
One Battle After Another?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you know why it's on there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Disney's Snow White, which I love seeing on this Worst Picture nominee list.
Right, but if you go through it, neither Rachel Zegler or Gal Gadot are nominated. I'm like, come on.
I am a little bit surprised at that, but Star Trek Section 31. It's too bad that Starfleet Academy didn't make it in time.
Yeah, right.
War of the Worlds, Ice Cubes. If you don't know anything about the War of the Worlds movie with Ice Cube in it, just watch any review of it. Angry Joe, actually, I like some of his stuff. He has a fun review of it. If you like Angry Joe show, he's got a fun review of it with his cohorts on there, and it's embarrassing. It was filmed during COVID. It's obvious, and they finally released this thing after like 4 years or 5 years, and it's embarrassing. Worst actor, Dave Bautista in The Lost Lands. I don't even know. I have no idea. Ice Cube, War of the Worlds. He may very well win it.
Yeah, I would imagine he's going to win the Razzie for that one.
Scott
And
Eastwood,
you know what? I think he would be
Alarum.
okay with it.
I actually think he would be too. I'd hope he'd have fun.
Yeah.
I think he'd have fun with it. Jared Leto and Tron Ares. I didn't think his performance was terrible. I thought the movie was terrible and the writing was terrible, but I didn't think his performance was that bad.
This is my biggest trepidation with Motu is that Jared Leto's the Joker. Is the Jared Leto curse going to follow
Skeletor?
Skeletor, yeah. Is the Jared Leto curse going to follow into Motu, or will Motu be the breaking point because we're only going to see his face for like 2 scenes or 5 minutes or whatever before when he's Keldor, before he comes Skeletor? If they even show him as Keldor, I don't know if they're going to.
We're gonna discuss that when we watch the trailer here in a minute. We're gonna talk about it a little bit because it bears worth talking about and my concerns. Because I do have concerns. Everybody and their mother is like, "Oh my God, it's amazing! It's gonna be the best thing," and I'm like, I have some concerns. Again, I want it to be good, so don't think I hate on everything, but. I do have a few concerns that I haven't heard a lot of people really bring up, and so we'll talk about it here in just a second. Worst actress, Natalie Portman, Michelle Yeoh for Star Trek Section 31, Rebel Wilson. I mean, some of these movies, I do not know.
Well, so
honestly
Rebel Wilson should win it out of principle because she's piled up so many, but maybe Natalie Portman too because she's piled up a lot of stinkers.
Michelle
Yeoh
Natalie Portman
probably doesn't deserve it because she's racked up some Academy Award winning performances. So,
yeah, I mean, what if you could win one and if you could win both, Razzie and Academy Award, right? Worst remake, ripoff, or sequel. I do kind of like this list. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Smurfs, Snow White, and War of the Worlds. I really think
War of the Worlds has got to win that. I mean, that's kind of like a hands down. Snow White was bad, but War of the Worlds, man, come on.
Yeah, no, I do believe it. And then I'll kind of skip over like worst supporting actress. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get this. Worst supporting actor. All dwarves. 7 artificial dwarves from Snow White.
And then you know what? I hope that they win and somebody comes up and accepts the award and thanks Peter Dinklage.
Actually, that would be pretty awesome. Actually, that'd be fucking great. And then also worst screen combo, all 7 dwarves and Snow White. I like this. Ice Cube and his Zoom camera. The Weeknd and his colossal ego. I mean, come on, like that's pretty good shit for an award, right? Like that's pretty good stuff. I mean, director Russo brothers may very well win that. Rich Lee, maybe. I don't know, man. This.
Now I've got a surpriser that I thought would have been on this list, but isn't anywhere on this list. And then I actually, because I watched it recently and was like, oh, well, this is actually pretty darn good. And that is The Smashing Machine.
Yeah. So quickly, just for a second, what did you think about it?
So The Smashing Machine is about the birth of mixed martial arts. It is Mark Kerr and his foundational importance to mixed martial arts and what he had done in his career to bring it forth. and his relationship with Mark Coleman and several other people that if you know the MMA world and history, you cannot overlook Mark Kerr and what he had done. And so The Rock comes in and Dwayne Johnson plays Mark Kerr. And there are scenes in here where I don't recognize him as The Rock.
There's you don't at all.
There's certain angles and stuff, and I don't. They did some makeup to his forehead, I think, to give him that more Cro-Magnon look and stuff that's a little different than his normal look. And I mean, he was trying hard for an Oscar nomination for this performance, and quite frankly, it's probably the best performance he's ever had. But at the same time, he's not playing anyone who is that far from himself. Because being in wrestling and being on the MMA fight circuit, there's enough similarities where you can say, okay, yes, fight promotion, getting screwed over by the referees in Japan. Clearly there's some twists and turns going on here to create a narrative that people want to see something a little more interesting. But it does go through some of the history pretty well. The actors that got to play Mark Coleman was good. They've got Bass Rutten is actually in the movie playing Bass Rutten. But he's a whole lot older than he was at the time that he's supposed to be in the movie. But in either case, he's playing himself. And then you actually have Mark Coleman at the end of the movie playing himself.
Okay.
So they flash forward to 2025 and they've got Mark Kerr 2025 and they've got Mark Kerr at the grocery store doing his thing and not being recognized by anybody, just being himself, going out and being a normal dude, and all the pressures that were put on him to be so great at one time or another. And it's pretty interesting. If you're at all interested in MMA or a dramatic performance by The Rock that might surprise you, go check it out. Yeah, Pride. I love Pride. Pride was way better than the UFC until Dana White got involved. But even with Dana's involvement, I always thought Pride was a little more exciting.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. I remember maybe just out of high school watching VHS tapes of the original like UFC fighting where they'd have just this giant country motherfucker against some like ground and pound guy. You know what I mean? And you'd think, oh, the big country guy's going to win this shit. And then the ground and pound guy would just wear him down, and I mean, it was brutal. The early days was brutal.
Well, so they didn't have gloves in the beginning.
Oh, no. Yeah.
There was no protective gear. They allowed biting. They allowed eye gouging in some of the divisions. The one of the first things that they did take away were kneeing to the head on a downed opponent. If you have four limbs on the ground, you can't knee to the head. And that's what was a contention point for Mark Kerr at one of his fights.
Okay.
But they don't talk about, the Tank Abbott because he was all UFC and he wouldn't have survived in Pride. And something they didn't go into as much in this is the steroid usage in Pride, because it was legal to use steroids in Pride.
Okay.
It was not in the UFC ever, because the UFC had to be sanctioned by the Boxing Commission in the United States, and they had to stay clean as all get out. And that was a huge issue when they merged and Pride fighters had to come over and fight in the UFC later on. That was much later.
Well, I remember seeing previews for it, and we all knew it was Oscar bait, and
yeah,
whether you like The Rock or you don't, I don't know. Look, some of his movies are fine, some of them are good, some of them I'm not, that great. And so it was obvious what they were trying to do with this, and it just didn't go over. I mean, it's now at the same time. It's pretty common for Oscar bait movies to not do well at the box office. That's
Very
not
true.
A prerequisite.
Very true. But I'm sure most of the Oscar committee overlooked this as The Warrior, which was also a really good movie, or some of these other
The Wrestler.
The Wrestler was actually nominated for a couple. at one point, and that movie's
Oh yeah,
excellent. So yeah,
yeah.
it's
That's what I mean. It's
yeah.
yeah. I haven't seen it. I'll be honest with you. I did not have a lot of interest in seeing it, and it's only because I kind of somewhat can guess the through line and kind of the end of this movie and
Well,
what
I
it
mean,
is.
it goes into more details about his wife and his opioid addiction
Oh, right, right.
and that kind of stuff. But
Um, 3 Star wants to know we're going to bring back gladiatorial combat though. One day, I
I mean,
believe we'll get to a society where Running Man is somewhat of
yeah,
a thing.
absolutely.
Not exactly, but
I
I
mean,
believe
when we hit full fascism, that's going to be the thing. And everybody was predicting that in 2005, when the UFC became the most popular sport in the world for about
that's
5 minutes,
Yeah.
that we were turning down that path of the fall of Rome.
Right. No,
So
I definitely remember that.
yeah,
Even though boxing obviously, was once this country's best sport, along with horse racing,
yeah.
and then baseball, and now football. But yeah, no, I remember those days for sure. People definitely saying, "Oh God, this is the beginning," right? And then of course it has to be sanctioned and it has to be safe to an extent, and that kind of changes those rules. But I agree, I do. I'm not kidding. I think there could come a day where the bloodthirsty public gets their wish.
Well,
when
you
it
know what?
comes to
I
something
don't
like
think
that.
we're there yet because bloodthirsty public is getting their bloodthirstiness out in the real world right
Oh,
now.
you're right about that. Yes, they are. You guys remember Robot Wars? Yeah, G4 TV used to
That
do
was
Robot Wars.
amazing. I loved Robot Wars. I mean, that was scientific
I did too.
achievement with mass destruction on a scale that, But once you develop that wedge with the piston
Yeah.
hammer with the spike
Yes.
on it in front, that was
Yes.
it. That was
Dude.
it. Because
Dude,
nobody could
so
defeat the
awesome.
wedge with that piston hammer coming down with that nail on the end that was going to puncture your vehicle and destroy the electronics in it. So
Yep.
once people realize that, okay, this one design is superior to all other prospective designs, the
It
show's
became a
over.
move. Yeah, you're right, and it did, and it became the thing. And yeah, battle bots. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, I
absolutely.
loved watching that on G4 after getting my Olivia Munn fix and my Morgan Webb fix,
Oh
and
yeah.
back then my Adam Sessler fix, who's now turned into a raving lunatic. But that's a whole different
Whatever.
story. Sandler keeps getting screwed on a nomination. Yeah, he's gotten screwed a couple times for sure. Um, Uncut
Well,
Gems. I think it's because he is who he is,
yeah.
and I just don't think that his peers or those that vote, no matter what serious role he does, I just don't think that they'll ever actually give him any due. But he
No.
actually is a good actor and
Yep.
can do very great roles. And he also makes movies for his fans. He knows what his fans like, and that's
He
what he does.
he knows how to make money. And so
Yeah,
he's making money.
yeah.
And yeah, he would love to do some of those dramatic roles and stuff like that. But he's also interested in supporting his family and everything else. But yeah, no, I agree. He is a good actor, way better than people give him credit for.
A lot better than
And I gotta
others.
take umbrage with this one.
The Rock is the M. Night Shyamalan of actors. Make one awesome movie and 2 or 3 shitty ones.
So I just out of curiosity, besides the Sixth Sense, maybe The Village, maybe I don't know. What other M Night Shyamalan movie is good?
I gotta be honest, and I kind of knew where you were going with that, and I gotta agree with you.
I mean, he's made
Like
one good movie, and I can't, Okay, I mean, I guess, but
signs everywhere. A sign.
signs everywhere. The signs, and all you got
Get
to
up the
do is
scenery, breaking my mind.
do
Okay.
this, don't do that. Can't you read the signs? But I mean, when it comes down to sprinkling water on people, I mean, what's the point? And Unbreakable is a trilogy, but is it really that good?
I like the first one. Okay. I didn't care for the last one for sure, or really,
Yeah.
or the second one. But no, look, beauty is in
I
the
think
eye
The
of the
Rock.
beholder, obviously, right?
I think The Rock has more wins than losses compared to M. Night Shyamalan. But
I will
yeah.
agree with that. I will agree with you there. I do think The Rock does have more wins, even though I'm not his
No,
biggest
yeah.
fan. But I have enjoyed some of his movies and
I
some
mean,
of the M Night ones. Like I've watched and thought, man, I wish I hadn't finished this. Like I really wish I hadn't finished it.
yeah.
But yeah, no,
I mean,
you're
I
right.
know he's got his fans, The Shape of Water, and all that stuff. I guess I don't know. It
Yeah,
is a matter of opinion and taste, but
yeah,
I like the Jumanji series. I like Walking Tall when he did that. I like this one. There's
right.
I actually liked Skyscraper. I mean, it was stupid, but it was fun. You
Yeah, I
know,
forgot. I'm glad you reminded me of that. I forgot all about that fucking movie. And then Rampage. You can't
yeah.
forget Rampage, based off the video game.
Another great fun stupid movie. What was the other one? What was the earthquake one?
Oh
Was it
God,
Earthquake or what was that one?
you might be right. I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole, to be honest with you. I really don't. And I, you know what? I get that too. Like, there's a couple of them I have uh
See,
watched
even when The Rock makes a bad movie, most of the time it's still fun to watch. I mean, The Scorpion King would be the exception to that rule because that was, I think, his first, and it was terrible. But beyond that,
Okay, speaking of the Scorpion King, speaking of the Scorpion King, I do have. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the trailer for He-Man. What do you say?
He-Man
Let's go ahead and
and
take
the
a look.
Masters of the Universe.
I do have another story I want to discuss with you though here in a minute. And it's about
I
the Batman writer
Oh yeah,
for yeah,
absolutely.
James Gunn is-
Pain and Gain is actually really, in my opinion, a really good movie.
let's
And it's
see.
surprising to see, The Rock and Mark Wahlberg make such a high quality movie, but both of them have talents that kind of work in that realm.
Yeah. All right, let me share this screen. You guys have seen it. I know you've picked it apart, but I haven't gotten Matthew's take on this trailer. So let me make sure the volume is somewhat appropriate, but not crazy too loud.
And I
And
assume most of you guys have seen this, so I can talk over it, right?
yes, I would hope so. So yeah, let's go through it. I can pause it whenever. Doesn't matter. Right. So
Right off the bat, I love seeing Zoor. Right
All
there.
right.
Only exists in legends and bedtime stories.
what do you think about Grayskull? What do you think about the CGI?
I mean, it is whatever. I would prefer it to be a little more gray skull
Okay.
than white skull. But it looks pretty awesome. It doesn't look as necessarily menacing as I would want it to. But I mean, I still love it.
But
I still think it looks
it's
great.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Talking tigers, spaceships,
Talking
magic
tigers.
swords that can make a man as
Sword looks good.
Sword looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else you're going to do that better.
Right.
right.
I love this shot. I love this shot right
This
here.
is awesome. And you've got the kings of old. I mean, this is Lord of the Rings type of stuff here, right? I mean, you've got the kings
Yes.
in giant statue form that are guarding the way and the pathway to the kingdom. This is, I mean, and you've got the spaceships and you've got the medieval stuff. It looks good.
All right.
come from. That stuff is real.
Now this, when they show his room, and he's got all of these crayon drawings and all this other stuff. Here in the background, he's got his action figures and his computer and all of his posters and drawings, and I mean, this literally looks like a 10-year-old's room.
And I like the fact, I believe, I could be wrong, those look like OG Air Jordans on
Oh
his
yeah,
floor,
yeah.
but I could be wrong about that. But if it were, it makes sense. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's got all the drawings of the sword. He's literally drawing the sword. It's all over his back wall. See all
Yeah.
those drawings. So like he's being drawn to this sword. So
Well, he's got that telescope. You know, he's
yep,
looking to the stars. He's got
right.
all this astronomy stuff going on, and it's just my fear is that they're going to lean into the Arrested Development, He-Man macho, you know,
Okay.
man who's still a boy living in his childhood, um, his whole life, and that's what I fear is going to happen with this movie. But we'll see.
Yes, I'm hoping that they lay into the nostalgia part, but that it's a little bit of a ruse, and because of his nameplate on
Yeah,
his
yeah,
job.
yeah. We'll get there. Yeah,
Yeah.
love this.
Why did you send me away?
I wanted you to be safe. So I sent
Love
you
it.
to a place that
So
they'd never find you.
I love the fact that they're kind of explaining why we're starting out on Earth, right? And we
Yeah.
know we know Marlene is from Earth, right? And we know that you know, something happened, a great war happened, and so they sent him away. But he still had enough childhood in Eternia to know that it exists. It's a real place, and now he's here on Earth, and so I can appreciate that. I just hope that we spend, you know, 10 minutes on Earth, and then you know, we're on Eternia for the vast majority of the film. I don't know if that's going to be the
Okay.
case, but you know, we're going to spend enough time in Eternia that we're going to be able to tell the story. I just want as little time on Earth as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I feel you there.
So I knew that they'd never find you. There's
Okay.
So this is the greatest troll joke, whatever, in the history of everything.
That's what I think. Because if you watch the teaser trailer,
Yes.
the first one that came out the day before,
Yes.
the voiceover was, this is what was you know, a hero, and they show the animated version of He-Man with the sword, not, you know. And then later in that teaser, that 21-second or however long teaser it was, they said, you know, and we need that hero now. And I think this is an obvious and absolute, yes, this works. This is what a hero is. Men like this, women like this.
Yeah.
And I just fear that, like, throwing this little thing in there, is it too little? Is it kind of too late? Is it passe at this point to for the pronoun thing? Like, you know, the human
we are so close.
resources telling him that, you know, you play with toys and your nerdy stuff, and you know, he has to have this nameplate. I just wonder if it needed to be here.
Yeah. We're on the knife edge of this, right?
Yeah.
And so I am okay if the mainstream world wants to start making fun of nerd shit again, because The Big Bang Theory was not an homage to nerd stuff. It was a ridicule of nerd stuff. That entire show was made out of seething hatred of nerd pop culture stuff. And if you really pay attention to what's going on there, and I think if we go back to this issue, then our stuff gets put back into the niche, and when it goes back into the niche, it gets good again.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
And you know, when it gets too popularized, too many people want their fingers in it, and too many people have opinions that don't coincide with the fundamental ethos of that property, of that thing, and it gets destroyed. You know, just look at Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, just about everything, right?
I think it's the Marvelification. It
Yes.
became cool to be a Marvel fan. It became cool to be a Thor fan. It
Right.
became cool to be an Iron Man fan. And that wasn't so cool
Yep.
before in the MCU.
So I'm okay if we want to be relegated back into the obscurity and not mainstream. But when you make something good, it hits the mainstream,
That's true.
right? And so this, in my opinion, has potential to do it. And I don't think that this joke actually hurts anything, because the people that are so offended by that right there are like, oh, I'm done, I'm out. Okay, then fine. Don't go see it. He-Man wasn't probably a movie for you anyway. But I mean, if you can't see the joke that's there,
Right.
then you're not thinking about humor. You're thinking about who's offended by what. And if you're always thinking about offending people, or who's offending people, or white knighting for people who don't need your defense, then you're going to have a problem with this joke.
Yeah, I think it's going to just go through. I think the audience is going to probably, the audience that's going to go see it, I believe, is going to get a kick out of it. The people who are upset about it are the people who won't be going to it anyway. They won't be seeing it anyway. They don't care about it. They'll just complain about it and move on. And yeah, 3-star. Yeah, I don't know about having the Big Bang to thank for nerd culture being mainstream. I think a lot of people watched it and liked the characters, but I'm not sure people all of a sudden got into like Star Wars or Star Trek.
Absolutely not.
Whatever they were into just because of the show. I think they just loved the show because it was funny and it was a good show.
What I will say is you can research this and go back through histories, and if you actually pay attention to the details and the numbers and everything, it goes back to Comic-Con when Twilight was released. Twilight ruined Comic-Con and fandom forever, because as soon as Twilight went to Comic-Con, that is when every corporation realized, hey, we can sell our nerd shit to all of these nerds. And then it became a commodity, and then the nerds weren't allowed in after that, really, because it was all of the influencers, it was all of the marketers, it was all of the corporate executives and their families and everybody else. The nerds were kicked out. Comic books were kicked out after Twilight.
Well, then the MCU really blew up, and it was all over from there for sure. But let's see here.
I'm not doubting what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying about Big Bang Theory, and it was part of that. I don't know. It was the normie version, because they satirized it. They made fun of everything that was nerd culture. They didn't celebrate it. They made fun of it in that show, and that's why the normie population attached itself to it. And they said, "Oh, hey, I know this thing called whatever Star Trek. I've seen an episode. I know who Captain Flirk is, and that pointy-eared guy who's Spick or Spock or whatever. It was, they made fun of it so much that it wasn't this. It's not a love letter. It wasn't an introduction.
I can see that. I mean, look, I know a lot of people definitely watched it. I just don't know if people were like, hey, I really want to check out that whatever Sheldon was into, because Sheldon's into that. I just think people enjoyed the show and found it funny.
If they didn't get all the references that
a lot of people probably had no real clue, but they were like, oh, it's nerdy, so it's fun to laugh at that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
fun to laugh at the nerds again. Laugh at the nerds again. Ha ha ha.
And those that did get it, obviously it was an extra little layer for them to see what they would talk about next. Okay, let's hear from the HR lady.
With nerd stuff and sword things, it's not a good look for human resources.
How does that affect human resources? I'm just curious. How does somebody's personal preferences?
All right, let's think about trailers. Okay, trailers are crafted for a specific reason. The dialogue is there for a specific reason. The visuals are there for a specific reason. I think that is why I believe this film is going to lean into that part of like it's okay to love He-Man. It's okay if you're a 50-year-old guy who collects action figures. It's okay if you're like, because that is one thing. People love the MCU. It brought on more people. It brought on more, mainstream. Collecting toys is not mainstream.
No.
Okay. And even at 50-year-old guys, collecting G.I. Joe classifieds is not mainstream.
Right.
I can talk about the MCU at my job. If I start talking about G.I. Joe figures, people start going, huh? So I'm just saying, you get what I'm saying?
But I think that more people have an understanding that you can collect sports memorabilia, you can collect whiskey, you can collect wine, you can collect toys. It's all the same. You can collect cars. I mean, it's
and actually, I can agree with Todd C here too about that particular bit of dialogue, because he is using like the company computer and he's like using their time on the clock to search for this stuff. So that makes sense also. That makes sense also.
Yeah. I get that part of the argument, but to say that to somebody and say it doesn't work well with working in HR is like, how does that affect my job at all?
Right.
But I think this is also another one of the jokes. I mean,
very well could be a combo with that.
Adam Galen, him working in HR. I think there are quite a few jokes that are going to be played at the expense of HR before we leave into Eternia. Maybe even when we're in Eternia, because he'll bring it up when somebody questions why Man-at-Arms is a black man in charge of these things, or why Tila is a powerful woman, or something. There's going to be some HR jokes
there's no telling. No telling.
I think so.
But I am
and
curious.
I think they're going to be funny because I think we're all going to laugh at them because we're like, we know.
And I'm kind of curious who sent him the text. Like, I found your sword. I think I know who it is.
I know it sounds crazy, but that sword is gonna show me the way home.
Coming up here, pause it right there. Yeah. Okay, so the Conan figure that's not He-Man holding the power sword.
Right.
You see that guy in the background right there wearing the Star Trek Next Generation uniform?
Yep.
he's Data, right? Okay. But you got Adam coming in there with the pink shirt, and now he's getting ready to jerk off his sword.
Yeah.
I was a little uncomfortable with that scene.
Yeah. Get it.
Sir, you can't do that.
Don't worry. The sword's mine.
I mean, he's got his hips involved with that too, man.
He's working hard.
He's working that sword.
Hang on, it's about to get weird.
So,
this is ridiculous to me. This right here. I'm sorry. This is absolutely ridiculous. No, not this part. That part's fine. The spaceship, the spaceship landing with less than 2 meters on either side of these giant statues coming in to drop somebody off. Yes, I mean, come on. I mean, look at this shit. You think that's a landing pad? How is that a landing pad for something that big? I mean, come on, people.
It is a little, but
it's about framing. Does it?
Yeah, it's all about framing. I'm just hoping, like, if this is Tila, I want original battle armor. Like, I need original battle armor. I don't need white pants with
you go back to her original outfits. Roboto, Man-at-Arms, Adam. I can't wait. I have to know who voices Cringer and who voices Battlecat. And if it's not Frank Welker, I'm going to be pissed.
I have a feeling.
The other one I would accept Willem Dafoe.
I'm good with that. Now, let me go back just a frame here to show all of these folks walking in. Let's see here. Give me 1 sec. Okay, right here. So who is this on the right?
Hey, hold on
With
a second.
the giant fist.
Oh, come on.
Is that Fisto?
Yeah, that is Fisto. Come on, man. He's like Thanos Copter's favorite guy to show on Wednesdays.
I just wanted to say it.
Yeah, okay. I figured. I mean, the characters that they show in the battle scene, unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to see Tila in her traditional outfit, just because that's the way things are. But
I'm with you. I agree. War Chest is this Buck Rogers, give us the armor. I agree. Okay. So we finish up. We get some battle stuff here.
Bring it. There it is. There he is, right there.
Looks fine to me. I mean,
it's no Franklin Jello, but it looks good. That was Spikor. They got Fisto.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back just a tad and see if I can pause it on. Right.
Spikor.
Such a pain in the ass trying to line. There we go.
go.
So looks cool.
Looks great.
Yep, looks cool.
He's not as purple as I'd like, but he's good.
Booyah. Okay. Giving us a little bit of action here. I do have some thoughts.
Waffle. I mean,
we did see Trapjaw.
Trapjaw, yep.
Right here, rearing back, and he is. I mean, now look, this is very tight. It's very tight. Trapjaw looks like he's getting ready to hit him before he can actually call out. I have the power, right? I mean, that's what it kind of.
There's no way he's saying by the power of Grayskull, I have the power at that.
There's no way. There's no way because he's about to get lit the fuck up.
Yeah. Beastman.
Yeah, Beastman.
He looks like a different version of Beastman, but still Beastman. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, kind of hard to pause it there, but at least you get him too.
He's got the armor.
Evil Lynn,
yeah,
love it.
Good, yeah,
love it. I'm all in here. That's cool. I'm digging it. Cringer,
Battle Cat. Go. Yeah, bring it, Cat.
Some would say not green enough.
And now we have our Thor.
No, this is 11 fighting the Mind Flayer. Stop it.
This is Thor.
This is 11 fighting the Mind Flayer.
That's Thor calling the Valkyries into play with the Led Zeppelin song. I mean, come on.
I could have swore I saw this scene just a few weeks ago.
You sure you did? And then you saw it 10 years ago, too. It's the same scene.
I think I've seen it a long time ago, too. Okay, and then we get
the transformation.
Now, okay, what do you think about had they gotten a different actor to portray He-Man and swapped out our Prince Adam for a different actor? Because like the abs aren't there, the muscles aren't there.
I kind of think that would have been better had they swapped out actors.
I do too.
And I mean, it goes to the Superman Clark Kent effect of it as well, right? You get a different actor to play him, and that's why people don't recognize him as He-Man or however you want to tell that part of the story. I believe he does have the Iron Cross though on his armor.
He does.
It's not the 2000X He-Man. Yeah, it's the Iron Cross. Yeah, so you have the original symbol on there, and he's fairly well built. I mean, he's got some muscle on him, so that's all right. Oh
shit, Drax! That's right, Drax flying through the air.
Yeah.
How many times have we gotten that scene? I need to see if I can AI that shit.
I'm sure you can.
I'm sure I can. But yeah, like, we
And
get.
this right here, I don't know why, because this is all CGI stuff, but this actually reminds me of Dolph Lundgren's Masters of the Universe when they finally get back to Eternia and they have to fight all the stormtroopers.
I see that. Yeah, I just wonder. I guess to me, it also would.
That's not Scareglow. That's not.
It also would have fell into the the cartoon, because Prince Adam definitely changes into a grown ass man.
Right.
Like he just does. And he has, little legs. I agree. And war chest. I actually have your earlier comments highlighted, or not highlighted, starred, because I wanted to look at them again after we got through with this, because you did have a few things to say at the beginning. I'm not sure. I mean, I love this. Yeah, this is
awesome.
great.
Now,
I
hold
think
on, right there.
Skeletor looks great. Okay.
The Havoc staff isn't nearly as cool as I want it to be, and where the fuck is his armor? The crossbones with the gem that go right in the center for his armor piece.
Maybe this is before he's battle.
Is this finally when Keldor becomes Skeletor? Is that what's happening here?
Right.
Okay. All right.
I mean, or maybe not. It's more ceremonial. Like early on, we're seeing him as Skeletor before he actually enters the battle. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be in the trailer here.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's fair, but that would be my criticism of this part right here, is that it doesn't show his skull crossbones type of thing.
Yeah, and maybe this is the first time they meet, because you're right, he's definitely not there. And so,
But I mean, I love this power sword.
Cool angles.
Staff.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. No, I'm down with this.
And is it
power sword?
Is it a mask or his face? Yeah, possibly. I mean,
if it's not his, if it's a mask, I'm going to be severely disappointed, because it needs to be his freaking head.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, look,
I've got more excitement for this movie than I had before this trailer came out. So this trailer has done its job in exciting a lot of people about this movie. Yes. And any detractors that come and say, "Oh, whatever," I'm going to say the same things, right? There's things that I still have concerns about, but at the same time, I'm more excited to see the movie now than I was before. So the trailer is working.
Too.
It's doing its job.
I agree. Me too. And you're right. There are some things that I have concerns about, but not as many. I mean, and like we just started talking about here too. Yes, the bone chest plate. He-Man's costume, Morchis said not a big fan of. He-Man has always been the least cool character. It's all the others that make Motu cool, and he is a nuclear option, a last resort, as a
quite honestly, weapon. That's why it's called the Masters of the Universe. It's not He-Man. The show is technically called Masters of the Universe because it's all about the other characters, all of them working together. And then He-Man is kind of like, exactly like you said, the nuclear option, right? He's the, oh shit, we're in trouble, hit the power button, and He-Man comes and saves the day if the Masters can't handle it. But that's what the Masters are there for.
Yeah, I am more excited for it though than when I originally heard about it, and we had not really seen anything but some casting news and maybe like a couple of set photos or whatever. So yeah, look, hey, the trailer worked for me.
Yeah,
and I want to go see it. I can't wait to go see it. I hope that they don't put out 3 more trailers that spoil the whole freaking movie.
Yes,
I want them to leave it, to your imagination until you go see it. I think that's one of the worst mistakes that trailers do now. So,
I think maybe, I don't know, Mattel may have learned a good lesson with the Barbie movie.
I hope so.
And that is cater to your audience.
Yep.
If you
Absolutely.
cater to your audience, you're going to be a success. And that goes back to the Sonic movie, right? The Sonic movie made major changes before it came out because that trailer was so ill received. But people love that movie. They made the changes and people love that movie. And it was a good movie. It's a good trilogy of movies, in my opinion. I like all three of them. Right.
Right.
But if they hadn't changed that one thing, I wouldn't have watched another movie. And it was just an aesthetic thing because, I don't know that I would have seen the first one if they hadn't changed it, because that change made it more accessible to a lot of people. And
I agree.
And I think the Barbie movie was made to play to an audience. And I think this He-Man movie is going to be made to play to an audience. And, as much as I wanted John Chu to make it, a decade ago, I think that this is right time, right place. I don't know, right people involved. I don't know. This one looks like it's going to be a success.
Well, what do you think if they were going to release it on June 6, 7?
I mean, they're cranial nerves that are cervical nerves that affect this motion 6, 7, right? 6, 7.
Okay, enough of that. Thanks, Todd. Thanks a lot. Okay, how about one more trailer? This dropped today.
Uh-oh.
And some of you might be interested. Maybe you were a big fan of the Super Mario movie.
Oh, yeah. I think that 2026 is working on a lot of properties because we've got Street Fighter 2, we've got Mortal Kombat, we've got Motu, we've got Super Mario World. We've got some good stuff headed for this year, I think.
And again, it's knowing your audience. Now, the audience for this cuts a wide swath, very large path. So let's take a look at the Super Mario Galaxy Yoshi first look.
Oh, you're here. Now, where's the troubled pipe?
Okay. All right.
Love it.
Okay.
Illumination.
One thing I want to mention really quickly is that they made Luigi like such a little bitch in the last movie. And so I know, but like Princess Peach was far like more manly than he was.
Hey, whatever.
Come on, you're not the scared guy anymore. Yes, I am. People don't change.
Never mind.
There's the problem.
Love it. That's it.
Looks great.
Give him an apple. Where's your apple? Super Mario 2.
Yep. Yes.
Who is this?
Ah, yeah.
Come on. So some dinosaur just shows up and he's now part of the group. Cool.
Hey, at least they replaced his voice.
I know, right? Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I actually have not seen the first one.
Oh. Man,
I have not
it's-
seen it. I actually have not seen it.
Then why would you be talking about all the Butch Girl Boss stuff then if you haven't even seen it?
Because you know I don't have to see the whole thing to know what's going
come on.
on.
Yeah, well, clearly you don't know what's going on because you haven't
Watched enough
seen it.
clips.
Come on.
I've
You-
watched
you-
enough clips.
You got clips ain't fucking shit, man. You got to watch it. It's fun. It's a blast. And
I'll tell you, I've probably seen about 40% of the movie. How about that? 40%, 43.7% of the first one. Okay, I cannot tell a lie. I'm being honest. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, Jet Man, are you busy around the end of the week? I don't know yet. It depends on what our weather looks like. That's
the end of the week's going to be super busy for everybody because the first part of the week is messed up. So yeah,
it could be. I'll let
Yeah.
you know, buddy. I'll let you know for sure. 3D probably going to look good. If you, I mean, it looks great anyway. I mean, the animation, they've done a fantastic job. And the first one, obviously, not so shabby. Baby Yoshi first, I guess, as an egg. I guess I can see that. I guess it just depends on what exactly they're going for in the plot.
I mean, I don't think we need to start with the egg, but we can, the egg will be there, right? Because you've got the egg shooters. I forget their name from Super Mario Brothers 2, but you've got all these guys. They're throwing in the homages. I love the flower power going on there in that scene. I was excited to see this and Project Hail Mary are like the first two movies of the year that I'm really excited to see. And Project Hail Mary is going to be freaking awesome. I think this one's going to be pretty darn good too. So
that I can't wait for. Project Hail Mary looks fun. I hope it lives up to.
I'm about halfway through the book, and I gotta say, I don't know that they're gonna make the movie in the same order that they make this one the movie in. The book and the movie is going to be different, obviously, but the way that they did it in the book is really interesting. And I think because they have trailers out there and stuff like that, I don't know that they can do the movie that way. And it's unfortunate because at the beginning of the book, he wakes up with amnesia. He doesn't know where he is, why he's there, and he's got to science out why the hell he's floating in space. Well, first off, he has to figure out that he's floating in space, and he's woken up by this, robot machine with spider legs that's like poking and prodding him and asking him questions and stuff, and he doesn't know any of the answers. Like the most simple one is, "What is your name?" And he's
and I think they've
fucking know.
I think they've in the trailer they've already kind of blown past that.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that you can't have this moment of discovery that's in the book that is really cool in the movie.
And we'll see. Who knows? I mean, maybe somehow they're able to still work that in.
If they do, and that's the storytelling method they use in the book, is this is where you get flashbacks and you get to learn pieces of information as his memory flashes into play, and they go back to Earth and they have these moments, and then he remembers, oh yeah, this is why this is happening or whatever.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I can't wait for Project Hail Mary. So yeah, 2026 shaping up to have some good properties, man, and possibly a good return to the movie theaters. I hope so. Definitely. And that's one I definitely want to go see. Super Mario looks good. He-Man looks good. There you go. Let's see. One story I wanted to cover before we sneak out of here.
Hey, whatever, man. I'm good. Ain't nothing going on tomorrow.
Right. Let's see. Okay. So James Gunn. Yeah. The Batman Brave and the Bold movie taps the writer who wrote The Flash, Okay, if you guys remember the Flash movie. She also wrote, hang on here, where is it at? Because it's earlier. Yeah, let's see. Because so the director directed the Flash. She helped write the Flash.
The best
In
movie ever.
Birds of Prey, the Margot Robbie Birds of Prey movie. She also wrote the Bumblebee Transformers movie. So,
I mean, she's 1 for 2 at the moment, right? 1 for 2.
Yeah, I just
or sorry, 1 for 3.
Man,
right? 1 for 3.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you think about this, bringing her in to write.
James Gunn is
Raven
actively sabotaging his own movie franchises by not making a cohesive story, not telling the trio, introducing the at least the trio, if not the Flash and all that stuff too. But you're missing the Justice League. If you don't start the DC universe with Batman and Superman, I don't know what you're thinking. If it's not Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, I really think that you've got your head screwed on backwards. And he started with Creature Commandos, right? And then he goes on and tells these other nonsensical stories of characters and people that nobody cares about, or very few people care about. He wants to tell the most obscure things ever because he doesn't know how to write a superhero. He knows how to write an anti-hero. He knows how to write a buddy film with a lot of people involved, which is evident by Superman, because he clearly can't write a Superman movie. He has to write a Justice Gang movie, right? I mean, and the best thing about the Supergirl movie that's coming out is Jason Momoa's Lobo, because everybody thought that he should have been Lobo from the beginning, and nobody could figure out why they cast him as Aquaman. It's like, but he's Lobo.
Yeah, it's I mean, he may very well be the best part of that movie. I mean, we don't know. I don't have a lot of hopes for it myself. I don't think it's going to do well, but I don't think it's a property anybody's begging to see either. But yeah, it's just really
your second movie out of the gate is Supergirl. Come on. I mean, what do you think?
It's just strange to me, the missteps here with getting this DCU off the ground, and then
Jeremiah, I am not enthused for the Lantern series. I would hope it to be good, but from what I understand, Hal Jordan gets cucked, and then they move on to the rest of them. I love Jon Stewart, but Hal Jordan is Green Lantern Prime for our Earth. So if they don't tell his story properly or incorporate him appropriately, I'm going to be pissed. If they skip past it and go to the other Green Lanterns,
yeah,
I'm out.
I'll have to see. I'll definitely have to see. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am not the biggest Green Lantern. It wasn't my jam as a kid. It wasn't my
Blackest Night was one of the greatest storylines in comic book history, and it's worth a read if you haven't read Blackest Night. But it is like the epitaph of superheroes because it borders on the deconstruction. But it is a great story with Hal Jordan, and it's hard to tell a Hal Jordan story these days unless you tell his origin story or the Blackest Night story. So I get it. I mean, you want to tell a Jon Stewart story where he's got so much more. Kyle Rayner, I hate Kyle Rayner. I mean, not as much as I hate Guy Gardner, but that's whatever.
Look, I assume it's in Gunn's universe.
Yes, it is. Everything except for the Batman is in Gunn's universe. The Batman is the only thing outside of the Gunn universe that is being created by DC Comics.
Yeah, the Matt Reeves sequel, right?
Yeah.
And War Chest, that's not a question for me. I can tell you that, buddy. Why Earth has so many lanterns, I don't know.
Hey, we are the focal point. That's why.
I guess that makes sense, right?
And shit keeps happening, and so they need more units to patrol this area of space because there's so much shit going on that is centered around Earth. because we've got a Kryptonian, because we've got people from other universes, and Darkseid came to this planet, and so on and so forth. There's so much going on around Earth.
And
they need some more.
Then sorry, I was gonna say the Wonder Man discussion next week. Yeah, I don't know.
When does that drop again?
It already dropped, Matthew.
Oh, it's already out there.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't heard hide nor hair of it. Is that something I'm gonna have to binge watch here in the next day?
Possibly. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay.
I knew it was like either it dropped either yesterday or like I knew whatever. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. Well, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. Tomorrow, a Monday.
Well, hey, they're competing with Primal because Primal drops on Monday.
Actually, you know what? The reason why I thought it had dropped, because I actually did read a pretty in-depth review.
Oh yeah,
of the show already, like pretty much the entire run of the show. And so in my mind, I was thinking, well, yeah, it had to have come out because whatever embargo or whatever, there was a pretty in-depth review. Tuesday the 27th is what Steve
There we
said.
go.
So,
27th.
So yeah, I guess technically tomorrow. I'm forgetting it's after midnight for me right here. So yeah, I guess technically
here too.
Tuesday.
I think the Green Arrow story is interesting, but it parallels Batman so much they make fun of it even in the comics. The Arrow Cave, wouldn't the Quiver be a better name? Yes, the Quiver would be an amazing name. So I don't know why they didn't think about that in the 60s. And then which Green Arrow are you going with? Are you going with the original, who's ultra conservative? Are you going with the Kevin Smith, who's ultra liberal? Are you going with the CW TV show, which is kind of mixed in between? Which one are you going with? And since we already had 7 seasons of the Green Arrow on TV, I can understand why he may not want to do that one. But the Green Arrow is a great character and should be included, but he's not the top 3. He's not where you start.
Well, and I agree. It could have been that there was already someone. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason, to be honest with you, with his decisions, with James Gunn's decisions. I really don't. I think he's doing I think he's doing what he likes.
Yes,
what he's a huge fan of.
Exactly.
And I don't.
And what he can include his wife in. And what he can include his wife in is a big factor in that, because if he can't include his wife in it, then as long as he can have his wife sleeping with everybody on the planet, then he can film and watch. So whatever.
I said some weird shit going on. William Emery finally watched The Batman and really enjoyed it. Yeah, look, I've enjoyed the first 2/3 of that movie, or the first 3/4 of it.
Yeah.
The third, the third act I thought was quite unnecessary.
If they didn't need it,
it drugged the movie out. But I did enjoy the first part of it up until the Riddler basically gets captured, found out. And then after that, for me, it was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate the last part of the movie. I also, I didn't like it as much as most people, because there were some really dumb scenes in my mind. I mean, the squirrel suit scene, I laughed out loud in the theater because I was laughing so hard, because I'm like, oh, he's dead. I mean, he just broke his neck.
Right.
You saw him break his neck right there on camera. I mean, we're done. The movie's over. Right. That scene was so dumb. It took me out of the movie hardcore. And, there were other elements that I did like about it, but it's honestly, I own it. I haven't watched it since I saw it in the movie theater. Well,
I'll be honest that I haven't watched it since I saw it. Like, I don't think I went to the theater to see it. I think I actually missed it at the theater and caught it at home, and I've watched it one time.
Yeah.
Watched it one time. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Every other Batman movie, even the
Love 'em.
Schumacher. I mean, I've like seen
Hell yeah. I mean, as
multiple times.
horrible as Batman and Robin is, or Batman Forever, and I'd go back and watch those over the Batmans. But
Yeah, but I did like the tone. I'm not gonna lie. I did like the tone. I didn't mind Robert Pattinson.
I mean, he was better than I thought he was going to be. I did appreciate the noir aspect of it, but it doesn't compare to Mask of the Phantasm if that's what you're going for, and some other movies. So
I'm a sucker for the animated shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Man,
I love that DC animated.
BTAS, Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, Batman
Assault
Beyond.
on Arkham.
I mean, there's some good stuff out there, and it's all animated. And
Yeah.
really, it is the best Batman that's ever been put out there.
I do. Yes, I do. I love that stuff. Yeah, GI, do a reaction stream. I mean, shit, like get on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't binge it and then fire it up. I don't know what I'll be doing for sure. As we're frozen out here in Nashville, so I have to be figuring about getting home.
There's a reason why they drop it on a Tuesday, and then they drop it all at once.
At the end of January.
At the end of January, they drop it on a Tuesday.
I mean, look, I hate to say that, but there is some validity to your comment about dropping it all at once, especially when you see more and more shows getting away from the binge model.
Yes.
Trying to maximize.
Even Netflix is pulling away from the binge model and dropping in sections.
Right. So, yeah, it's interesting, and that how much faith they do have in it, but the review that I read, I wasn't surprised they liked it, but I was a little surprised that they liked it as much as they did.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, do a reaction.
Do it, man. Do it.
Get it on. Afro Jesus, how you doing, buddy? I gotta ask you. Hope you got power.
Yeah.
This has never made it through Robert the Batman. Yeah. I know a couple people who started watching it.
Yeah, Sparkly Batman isn't for everybody, and not that he is Sparkly Batman, but he is so emo.
I think he's a good actor.
I think he's a great actor. He's done some really good stuff. But I mean, he really is emo Batman. And
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
it's a different take. I agree, and I don't know if people truly bought in on it, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do in the sequel. And
because people will argue that Batman is always emo, and I'm like,
no,
not like that.
Not like that. No, let's not kid ourselves. But yeah, Afro Jesus, I do. I hope you. I hope your power is on. I don't know. I haven't really heard from everybody. I meant to check in with everybody today, but it's been just kind of a weird day. And honestly, I've been up. I was up all night last night because of every few minutes there was a tree breaking or an explosion happening. And then once the power went out at 6 in the morning, I pretty much have been up all day. But I wanted to see, no power here, man. Shit. I'm sorry, dude. That sucks. I had to pack up.
Hope you're staying warm or getting someplace safe, because that's just dangerous.
Yeah, it is, and it's damn cold tonight.
Yeah,
for sure. So, I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about, and not that I couldn't go for a while, Matthew. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty beat from last night. From the long night.
I snuck in the things that I wanted to talk about with the Smashing Machine and the Mel Brooks one, and yeah.
I mean, yeah. Trust me. You know me. Like the last few streams, we've gone quite a while, and I'm all about it. But I'm not gonna lie. I am a little beat.
Sure.
But
I get it.
I was thankful to do a stream tonight with you because I knew you were going to be on the road for Tuesday.
Yeah,
And
if anything, I'll be in a hotel room on Tuesday night.
right.
So,
Which, I mean, if you're in a hotel room and you're able to hop on, I mean, you obviously can do whatever you want.
If you've got power and you're streaming, I that may happen. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. But yeah, not a whole lot else going on really. I just know that in Nashville, there's still probably 200,000+ people without power. I know other areas have been pretty affected, and it's been a pretty rough last day and a half, I guess, day and a quarter. So yeah, but I know you're heading out Tuesday, and I hope you're safe too, man, because I know you might run into some inclement shit, man.
I'm hoping that most of it's past and that we're far enough south that it's not going to be too bad. And from what I hear, where I'm going is okay. They've got some similar issues that we're having here right now. So we seem to be on the same parallel in terms of that stuff. But I'm thankful for that, and that hopefully I can get done all of the weird family stuff that I've got to get done, because I had another task added to my list for my mother-in-law on this trip, which was really weird. But
well, hopefully it won't. I know you plan on taking off anyway for this week, but hopefully it won't set you back like too crazy as far as getting your stuff done.
I hope that I will be home by Thursday. Definitely by Friday, but hopefully by then, so that I can have the weekend and everything else to spend with my family. But
we'll figure out, I guess, Tuesday night and see if you're in a hotel room and you got time or whatever and checked in. Maybe we can pull a little something. I'll scour the news and see if we can maybe just grab a couple things. And you guys definitely go watch Primal. It's freaking awesome. If you haven't seen it, it's so much fun.
I caught up on it, and I got to say, I mean, there's an interesting aspect of it that I'm curious about and how it's going to develop. And I'd actually like to hear your opinion on it. You've seen the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I can't tell, but I'm trying to see if it's changing or not. But it looks like more pink skin is showing up as he progresses through this event. Okay, so you're seeing that too.
I'm definitely seeing that too.
Okay.
He is definitely smoothing out.
Yeah.
And
the other question I have is, it seems like it's been 2,000 years.
Okay, so that's something else, because the mammals, instead of dinosaurs, we have mammals now.
Well, I mean, he's dealing with riders on horseback with armor and swords.
Yes.
And that's not dinosaur time, right? We're not riding horsebacks. There's no equestrians at that point. So
right, yeah. So there's a bit of time that's passed, and that it has to deal with obviously the person he was interested in from the first couple seasons, and that passage of time. And if you want to watch Gendy Tartakovsky literally make funny ass sound effects, there is a behind the scenes on Adult Swim on YouTube channel, Adult Swim's YouTube channel, and it is Gendy Tartakovsky doing his storyboarding, and they're showing on the right side of the screen him flipping through his storyboarding, and on the left they're showing the animated storyboard, and he is doing the sound effects with his mouth, and it is fucking amazing.
This
awesome. Guy loves what he does. Like, it is truly amazing. He loves what he does, and it is the funniest thing. It actually had me rolling, but he's just got his big digital pad there, and then on the left side of the screen they're showing what the finished product was. And he's storyboarding, clicking through the stills, kinda or whatever, and he's like, like it is so freaking awesome. This dude, you can tell, loves what he does. It is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, do you know who Phil Lamar is?
Yes.
Okay, so I can imagine, because he's used Phil Lamar on many of his projects, that Phil Lamar is similar to the Spaceballs guy, right? The a guy who is
Michael Winslow,
who is in Revenge of the Nerds and all this other stuff, right? And you get this sound effects person, right? And then Phil Lamar is one of those very talented people that has that vocal range, and so I can imagine Gendy learning so much from working with Phil on making these sound effects and really being engaged with it, and how much he loves animation. And I can see him drawing all this shit and making those same sound effects. I used to watch this PBS special, Mark something or other, I can't remember his name, but he would draw stuff all the time, and he would draw with sounds, and he would teach people how to draw different things. And it was like a Bob Ross, but it was for drawing or whatever.
Okay.
And it was the same kind of thing. It's like all the sound effects really play into it. I could see Gendy doing that because he is so passionate about action and the setting the scene, and you can see it with every frame of animation that he's ever done. You know, from Clone Wars, Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, and this. He's got an amazing litany of stuff that he's worked on. Even before he was in charge of things. So it's really cool.
It is absolutely, I'm telling you, man, like anybody, go look it up on YouTube, because it is on the Adult Swim channel.
Yeah.
And it's actually right here. I'll just piece of it just for fun. And I will show you him doing his storyboarding. Okay. Spoilers for season 3, but anyway, he talks about continuing the story. Okay, watch just this, like this alone.
Oh yeah.
Stab, and the guy's finally dead. Stands up, and then he sees something, and now we see the Mira's village from episode from the last season. He has an idea. Sees the hut. Runs for it, runs in. He fights through, grabs a potion, grabs a staff. Now we cut, and he puts a bowl down, pouring some liquid in it, throwing some stuff in it. Takes a knife, cuts his head off. Nature doesn't like this. Takes out the head, and now the
nature doesn't like it. I love it.
Pouring down into the mixture. Strange things are happening. Now he's got an eye. Drops the eye in. Back to the dead, headless body. He
rips the heart out
and pulls out its heart. And he takes it and gently drops the heart in the bowl. The energy from the heart engages the magic liquid.
I don't want to spoil it, because I want you guys to see it. This is from season 3, but just to give you an idea, that's him doing his storyboarding. You have to watch. It is fascinating how into it that he is, and
That's
it's so
awesome.
much fun to watch a guy doing the sound effects for his artwork, and it's like shit. And the final product and what he has on the other side. So go check that out too. But please watch Primal. It's so freaking good. It really
awesome.
is. And this guy is a master at what he does.
He is. He's a master of action. He's a master of storytelling. He's really good at what he does. So yeah. Primal's been a lot of fun to check out for sure.
Yeah, man. Okay. So with that, I am gonna say I am pretty beat. But I will hopefully catch up with you Tuesday. All right, buddy. But for those of you out there, appreciate you guys hanging out and on a special night anyway. And thanks to 3 Star for letting me borrow his studio and his toy room for one.
Yeah.
And so that's the evening blend. I hope you guys stay safe. For those of you out there, if you don't have power, please wrap the freak up. Okay.
Yeah.
And those of you that don't have to deal with it, bless you. This stuff is crazy, but
stay safe.
That's
keep your pets safe. Make sure that you're staying warm. You got shelter for everybody. Man, it's rough out there. So I mean, almost 200,000 people still without power in your area. So
yeah.
So,
but maybe we'll see you Tuesday night. We'll see what's up.
We'll see what's going on.
All right. You guys have a great night. We'll see you later.